What's going on, guys? It's Shadow from SG TCG bringing you guys some more locals content. This time I was using Reiju. We're at Top Cut in Berwyn. So I ended up getting the buy the first round because a couple of the guys showed up late. So we ended up just playing this game out. So this would be technically my first round. But won the dice run and chose to go second. I opened up with Stage and the Sanji. So that Sanji is a on play Don -1 draw card. And since my leader ability is when a Don gets minus, I get to draw a card. So I drew 2 cards off the Sanji play. Then I used Stage, chucking the little Ichiji. And I grabbed the Niji. I was trying to find the big Ichiji for that. Didn't mind chucking the other one since I did have the other Ichiji in hand, and I wanted to keep the 2Ks. So after that, I passed the turn to Enel. He plays Shura, looks at the top 5 cards, looking for a Sky Island card. He ends up grabbing, I think that's Enel, which on his 7 Dawn turn, he'd be able to rush down for a turn. He swings 6 at leader. I take it, seeing what else I could find. I end up finding the Ichiji, which is exactly what I need. But with the Don minus off to Sanji, it puts me back 3. But I chuck the Ichiji and look at the top 3, see what I can find. Find the Reiju, pick up the Reiju. Since I do have the little Reiju in hand, I could trigger ability, but I have too much in hand to even use it. So I believe I play Stage, and then I search again, chucking that Reiju I just got, which allowed me to do a double search this turn, if that's the play that I do, which is exactly what I do. So I put Stage down, search again to grab another 3, and grab another. Oh, I grabbed Sora this time, I believe. Nope, I went with the Reiju. The Sora would have been a good card since I do have the little Ichiji in the trash. I would play the Sora out, chuck a card from hand, and I get to grab one of those, little Germa Power Rangers to reutilize again. But don't have much of it, so I just swing 7. Obviously, Enel's gonna take pretty much a majority of the hits. They rely off the triggers, and once they're down to 1 life, it's basically a game of I have to go wide prior and put a lot of pressure on him. So I pass turn. He swings for 5. I counter with the Reiju since I want them in the trash majority of the time. He taps the 5. He plays Ace. Does not have Rush since he is at 3 life, so works out in my favor. I'm at 5 down now. I believe this is where I bust out the Ichiji. Yep, so we're gonna do the 4. Play Ichiji, Don minus off Ichiji, grabbing the 7 cost from the trash. On play, I get to give something minus 2,000, which would have been great if the ace was rested, but it wasn't. Leader ability triggers off. I get to draw a card, draw into the 2K store we were talking about earlier. And I just swing for 6 at leader. Again, it's a Enel. Usually, a lot of the times, they'll just take the life. He does have a grip in hand, though. He could counter out of whatever hit he wants. He doesn't counter, he's going to get a 7K swing with the Ichiji. So he takes it, and he ends up triggering something. Sanji. So Sanji, trigger, you have to discard a card, and you get to play it out. And then I swing with 7, and he takes that one also. So now Enel is exactly where he wants to be. Honestly, I probably should have held off on a swing because I'm in Raigo range, but not too worried since, that Ace is able to swing at the Ishiji. I doubt he's going to waste a Raigo on that. He's probably going to save it for Judge. So he swung 7 at the Ichiji, just like I thought. And considering on what to chuck, I chucked the Niji. There's really no need for it. I could use it for bouncing the Sanji, but at this point it's not worth it. He just rested it. Swung 5 at lead. I take it. I draw a Porsche, which in this deck, that those Foxy Pirate cards in this deck is nasty. The Porsche on play, Don -1, search top 5 for another Foxy Pirates. It could search itself, and I run the chopper, so it could look into that. Then it could play out a purple card with 4,000 or less, so it could play out any of the Power Rangers and trigger the ability. So he plays Enel. At this point, I'm gonna chuck the pudding. I was holding on to the pudding just for when he gets a big hand, but he ended up throwing a lot of the cards out, so at this point it wasn't worth keeping that pudding. So I have 5 cards. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to do, but at this point the Porsche is the play here, so I could establish 2 bodies. So I'm gonna Porsche, then the Don minus. Don minus to 1. Search top 5. This is my first game using it, so I wasn't completely sure how the order should have gone. So looking top 5, the chopper is in the search. I grabbed the chopper since it's more valuable than the Porsche. It's a blocker and it gives me a Don back. Plays out the Reiju. So again, we're just validating that I was able to play the Reiju out. Then I Don minus, played out the Reiju. I still haven't drawn a card for leader ability off the Porsche, so I should have drawn the card off that, but I still would have been in range for the Reiju to draw the extra 2. So I'm drawing the 3 from the Reiju, the 2 from Reiju, and then the 1 from the leader. So I stage, chuck in the stage. It's not worth keeping. The Porsche would have been another ideal choice, but we could have done another play with it the next turn. So checking to see if I have another EGG in the trash, which I don't. So the big EGG would be the move to grab. Well, I grabbed the little one because I'm anticipating him KOing the bigger one that's on the field right now. So we swing 6. Probably at the Sanji, so we can start applying some pressure on this board, because if we don't start attacking the board, it's going to come back and hurt us the next turn. So he gives me a 2K, and I swing 7 at the Sanji. Not too worried about swinging at the ace, because if I swing ace or HG to ace, it's an easy 1K counter for him, so we're just going to get rid of what we could. If he wants to block for the Sanji, he'd have to give up 2 cards. So the Sanji ends up leaving. I put the chopper down, I ramp a Don back from the chopper, and now I have a little chump block. So with that, it leaves me at 5 Don. I'm out of judge range because I do have judge in hand, which would have been great for the next turn. But 7 Don. If he takes out the EGG, I do have the other one in hand. And we also bottom deck 2, so there's still a 4th one somewhere in the deck. So he Yamato'd, KOs the chopper. The only targets he could have had was either the Porsche or the chopper. After the pop, he swings 5 with leader. Here, I should be chucking a 1K out with just the pudding, because he still has 2 7K swings after. So he swings 7 at ETG. I chuck counter for 2, and I counter the other one for 2. Debating on which one to use, but the Sora would be the better choice because if I can get into an ETG this turn, I could use the ETG from the hand. But I let it go thinking that I could do the ETG from hand and get the minus 2k off something, which is still not a bad play. So I chuck Judge from the stage, looking at the top 3 for Germa. Did not find it, but I found a Reiju, which at least will let me filter my hand for some cards. So this turn, I'm gonna be playing out that ETG, giving something -7. But I do the Reiju first. Don minus, give me some other options. Play out the big Reiju. I'm gonna draw 3 cards off this. 2 from the Reiju, 1 from the leader. End up drawing into all pretty much 2Ks, except with the exception of that Reiju. And then I do the Porsche. So I do 3, Don minus, and I'm looking for the chopper. So I forget about the search first, but look at that. We had the chopper right there off the top, and then that was the last ETG that I had in the deck that wasn't bottom decked. So now I'm only playing with the 1 ETG in the trash. So I end up doing the ETG from the trash, giving minus 2,000. I believe I do it to the Enel. Because now I'm going to swing at the Enel. If he decides to save it with his ability, he's going to trash his life. And then I have 4 swings that could go to the Enel. So it's a matter of how does he want to protect it. And I do have the little chopper blocker, which would be ideal to ramp again, but not completely worth it. So swing 7 at the Enel. He's deciding to use the ability to save it. So he ends up trashing a Frankie, which would have been a perfect trigger for him. He could have triggered it into a body and a card. So then I swing 5 at the Enel, swing another 5 at the Enel again. First one he countered out with the Shura. This time he's thinking about what he's gonna do. He counters out with a Gadatsu. Then I swing 7 at the Enel again. So by this point, he's already lost a life and lost 3 cards from hand. And then now he used the 0 cost event and a Beji to get out of that. So now we know he's running low on counter cards if he's got to use a 0 cost event with a Beji. So it all survives, but that whole interaction took, 6 cards that he could have possibly used just to save that Enel. It was the life card, the 2 1Ks, and that was 5, and then the 0 cost with the Bedge. So 5 cards to save Enel. So now if we could survive this turn, going lethal next turn is ideally the move, since we're gonna have 6 swings next turn. We're in a good spot. We have 6 cards in hand, a lot of 2Ks with 2 1Ks. So 4 2Ks, which is a total of 10K counter in hand. So you swing in 5 first.
No matter where you find yourself, no matter what kind of stuff is going on in your life, underneath it all,
Rethinking about it because he's not completely sure if he should swing or what he should swing at. So I counter out with the Reiju. I believe he was swinging at the Reiju. Now he's swinging 7. Here I counter out with 3 with 2K Sanji and the chopper. So now
challenging,
I have 3 more cards.
painful.
And here he's trying to get rid of swings. I counter out another
Remind you that these little
4K to
mistakes
protect the body with the Enel.
is worth it.
And then now he swings 9 at the Ichiji. I don't have enough counter to save it, so it's got to go. He plays the ace, heals a life, and he's deciding on what he wants to swing at. So he swings at the Porsche. I have 1 card in hand, and one of it is the Sora. And I believe this is where I do the Sora play, where I play her out, chuck that Niji, and give myself an extra swing. I also could have just attached a lot of the Don and swung wide. So Sora hits the field. I grab the Niji. And I hold that out. So swing 5. Right now we're gonna start poking to our opponent. We have a total of 4 swings right now. So it's a matter of what triggers he could get. He has no trigger. Swing 5 again. Counters out with a 2. Swing 5 with the Reiju. Seeing what kind of trigger he could use at the moment. So looks like he trashed no Kame. The Enel event card where you could bring in Enel from the trash, but he gets on 1 life. So then I swing with leader for 5. The attack ends up getting through, and then I tap the 4, play Ichiji Don minus, and then I play out the bigger one, and it ends up being game. If you guys like the content, make sure you guys like the video, drop a comment down below, and subscribe for more content. Catch you guys on the next one.